camera. People are waiting. And let me share it to my page. A10 News Media Group. We will give a couple people a few seconds to come tune in. Tell a friend to tell a friend that Winters Hall is back in town again. And we have some things that we really need to discuss today. While you guys are sharing this, make sure you share to all your groups. Share everywhere. You gonna share it on your page, Councilman Pfeiffer? Let everybody know that you on here with me.
I think everybody that knows about it will be watching somewhere.
Yeah, I think they are. I got a lot of texts and messages and calls today, but I didn't want to talk to anybody. I wanted to, save this big moment for us, announcing our run as president and vice president.
No comment.
I know they thinking, what the hell is this? Giving people a few more minutes. Well, actually, about one more minute before we get started, because I want to make sure that Councilman Pfeiffer has my undivided attention. So if you're just now tuning in, please share to all your groups and tell a friend to tell another friend. Then I'm back on again. Also on YouTube, shouts out to A10 News Media Group and the greatest producer in the world, Mickey Jordan. Mickey, I enjoyed myself on vacation. And now I'm back to cause hell.
Starting tomorrow, though, right?
No. I started already. When I woke up this morning, I started and I said, what would start my day off right? So I said, let's start it off with how I really feel. So I said, what would happen if I die? I said, if I die, take the bouquet off of my casket and throw it into the crowd and see who's next. I mean, people like to catch things.
I mean,
that's all I'm saying.
They do it at funerals, weddings.
Yeah, they do it at weddings. So, all right, y'all, here we go. We about to get started. Y'all tap in when you tap in. Today, I got 8th Ward Councilman Dennis Pfeiffer. Dennis never been on the show before, but Dennis said I never asked him to come on the show before, which is true. I didn't think he was going to come, but I reached out to you today.
Why did you think I would come?
Why I think you wasn't going to come?
Yeah.
Because you didn't talk to me when we was downtown at the maze here. I asked you for a statement and you kept walking. But you went out to lunch.
But it's a different atmosphere, right? You given the moment, given the circumstances, I don't think it was the
right time to speak.
In the political thing, anytime that you have the floor or whatever, some people capitalize on that. I'm not that person. I'm not the person to jump to a microphone and garner attention. That's not what I
am. Well, shit, I am. So we gonna go ahead and get started with this. Look, Dennis, I want to just jump right into it. I got a lot of stuff. You seen me writing when you came in. I got a lot of stuff I want to cover. I had a lot of people. Like I said, I'm going to try to incorporate as many questions as I can along with my questions today. First, I want to read a little statement.
Okay.
Hell yeah, I'm leaving. I'm not dealing with this shit no more. I'm done. I don't care. I'm done. This shit is stupid. Y'all figure it out. Now, that was the goodbye speech that we heard last night at the 5 hour and 30-minute mark by outgoing President Ali Herkenroder. You was sitting right by it. I know you heard it. If you didn't, you can go back and listen to it. Now, Councilman Pfeiffer, do you want to be president of the council?
To be honest with you, it's a lot of stress.
I know it's a lot of stress.
It's a lot of stress.
Come on, be honest. I'm
not. No, I am honest.
I want to know.
I am honest. I do believe that without leadership, there's chaos ensues, and there's there's a certain lack of decorum amongst council staff about council members.
Mhm.
Do I want to be president and take on that stress? Uh, I, I guess I would say if the other and I have I've had zero conversations about this. Honestly, I haven't had any conversations.
Mhm.
Um, if the other council members, if if there was 4 votes for me, then I would be the 5th vote for me. If there was 4 votes for someone else, I would be the 5th vote for someone else.
So yes, you do want to be president.
but
Who?
it's
I mean, who don't want to be president?
I,
Dennis, you be
look, I can get more done without that chaos and without that stress, because that's you don't get an extra vote. You get more stress. You get um, I would say more restrictions put on you. um, and I can get more stuff done for my constituents if I didn't have that stress and didn't have that focus and didn't have to dedicate that time to playing referee to everybody else.
Well, what if they said they wanted you to be president?
If they wanted me to be, then I guess I'd have to step up. Do I want it? Am I seeking it out? Have I reached out to somebody and say, I want to be that? No, I haven't.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't.
Right.
I mean, I became president, and I made it well known that I became president because there was a lack of leadership in the transition for clerk, and I needed to step up, and well, someone needed to step up. Nobody was, so I stepped up to work to get the process down and the interviews and the postings and everything else to replace Inez. That was the only reason why I stepped up for that little bit in intermediate time. That's it.
So let's say, because I heard you say if it was 4 votes for Councilman Pfeiffer, you would be the 5th vote for
Correct.
Councilman
Correct.
Pfeiffer. So in my mind, I'm hearing if they wanted me to be president, yes, I would
Yeah,
accept
if
the
they
nomination.
wanted me to be, I would be.
So
If there was 4 votes for Judy or Tanya or something
and
else,
we don't talk about that.
but
I get what you're saying.
I would be the 5th vote, and I would support that.
And I'm glad you said that, because I want to know, as president, even though you was president before, so you kind of know what it's like.
Yeah.
What would you do to bring this council together? You knew that question was coming, because none of y'all like each other.
So I'm going to tell you I'm going to tell you it straight, and I'm not going to give you some bullshit
Please don't.
kumbaya
Please don't.
speech.
Right.
There probably isn't any one person that can bring this council together.
I disagree. I think the mayor could.
If
he would just come up and say, "Look, y'all need to stop this. We all need to work together and get along."
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. One, that would happen, but two,
it's not going to happen.
But two, there's so much disdain and hate for the mayor that.
That's why he need to come upstairs and do it.
But even if he didn't do it, like, that's not going to heal the wounds and in the issues that folks have with him. But
you got to start the process somewhere.
But I don't think that the mayor or myself or anybody else could bring everything to a normal decorum and stop the chaos and stop the bickering, stop the argument. I would be lying if I said any one person could do that, and it's not. I don't believe that that's possible. There's too much rooted disdain, hatred that isn't going to heal itself overnight, and nothing I can say. I don't believe anything that the mayor would say would put that water under the bridge. I just don't.
I still believe that you need somebody to at least put a foot forward. Somebody got to take an effort.
100%. Healing has to start somewhere.
Exactly.
Healing has to start somewhere. It's not going to happen overnight.
Right. So if I'm a leader, if I am the CEO of a corporation.
But to my point, it's not going to take myself or any single one person. It's going to take a collaboration of a lot of people.
Right, a collaboration, but then somebody, like you said, it has to start somewhere. Yeah. So it should start at the top.
Yeah,
and if you have a leader at the top that's going to say, hey, we need to stop this, quit calling Councilman Pfeiffer in, and then call Councilman Murphy in, and then call Councilwoman Priestley in. Call them all in.
Well, you can't with the Open Meetings Act, for one. But,
well, go upstairs.
But it's, this is one of the topics where everybody thinks that everything's going to be copacetic and
Mhm.
everybody's going to get along. But even on the national stage, it's rooted in hatred and conflict. So there's not one single like I don't know that there's one president that could bring both sides together. I mean, it's just not going to happen.
That's
right.
true. That's
So
true.
so if you look at it at the national stage, nobody's going to bring the Democrats and the Republicans together and drink the same Kool-Aid. It's just not going to happen. And we're a smaller version of that. So there's always there's processes we can make to smooth things over. I do believe that, but it's going to be a collaborative effort, and there are there still going to be conflicts and issues going forward. 100%.
Yeah, but I don't think anything will get done. Is like we know this. We're sitting here. We're talking about. We know it's going to be issues going forward. We know one person can't heal this. I totally agree with you, but it has to start somewhere.
For sure.
We're gonna leave that
No
there. Okay, so let's put a pin in that. So, how's the presidency spot going to be filled?
It'll be filled the same way it was before.
Not the 7th ward seat, the presidency.
Correct,
Okay.
I believe, and I haven't had any conversation. I haven't even had a conversation with Davina or anything else. But I imagine that somebody will make a motion, or we'll add it to an agenda to do a roll call vote, a rotating roll call vote until we elect someone.
Okay, so in the meantime, Liddell is the Councilwoman Lewis is the vice president, so she'll step up.
Based on the way that it happened in the prior, that the vice president fills in until the presidency is
I didn't know what all them goofy rules y'all got now.
It's the same thing.
So what about the 7th ward position? How they gonna fill that? Like, would it go to a vote primary?
Yeah, so we talked about that last night, and I think that there's still some ambiguity, but in my mind, it's not. It's pretty black and white. We will, and we made a motion in last night about putting Davina in charge of soliciting applications or resumes. To say there's not an application, so soliciting resumes. She will start getting those the first week of July, and then she will give those to us, and then we will. Not sure the process exactly how we will review them and call folks in for interview.
Okay.
So it'll be somewhat similar to the way we filled the clerk.
Okay.
So we'll broadcast it out. Those who are interested can submit their resume. The resumes will be given to council.
So the council will be the deciding.
So the council will be deciding factor until the next election.
Okay.
So I believe that the next regular scheduled election is in next November.
Okay.
So I believe it's going to be roughly, my math is 15,
a year and
16,
a half,
16 17 months. So that's what I believe from what I've read is we will appoint somebody for the next 17 months until there's a next election, and then that seat will be filled by the constituents.
Oh, I hope that you guys listen to the 7th ward residents, like whoever it may be. I hope
it's their seat.
I hope you listen to
It's
them.
their seat. I think I would hope that during what's that?
We hear this all the time. That it's their seat, but then we get, you know what I'm saying? Like the 7th ward won't get to pick who they want, because that's. I mean, I'm hearing you saying that it's their seat, but we still looking at whoever got 5 or 6 votes gonna get to still pick the person.
Well, I can't tell you how everybody's going to vote. Obviously, everybody will vote for their own reasons. But I would hope that everyone listens to the 7th ward residents and gets their feedback. I don't know. It's basically the only thing you could say. I can't tell somebody how to vote. But that's in all practicality, and that's how it should be.
But this is what I think. So like, it's 6 people, according to Councilman Murphy, that's moving the city forward. So 6 minus 1 with Allie leaving, that's 5. So with Eva It's a
See,
toss of.
I disagree. I disagree with the whole premise of that.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
So with Eva going in and out, because she only show up sometimes, flip of a coin, that's going to be 4 people. So the meetings had to stop, this congressional break, a cooling off period, whatever y'all call it this week. They had to stop until y'all can find that other vote to get that good solid 5th vote. Because I really don't think y'all going to listen to the people. Y'all have not listened to the people yet.
Name one instance where we haven't listened to the people.
House of Esther.
Okay.
Nobody listened to the people.
So there's a lot to deal with that. Okay, if we want to get into the House of Esther,
just for about 2 seconds.
Okay.
3.
So the House of Esther, I've said this on the record during that whole process. I'm 100% pro-life. I'm not mixing any. I'm pro-life.
Okay.
With the House of Esther, and I made the motion to give them 90. Well, it was on the record. It was like 100 and some days to get a deal done. I extended that. That's on the record. I made the motion and gave him.
But did they come up with the money?
But that's not the whole thing, though.
Okay.
Because if you look at it, they got somebody from the outside to get the money for the building, but there was never presented of how they were going to come up with millions upon millions of dollars to get that operational. So without that, it's no different than the land bank. You want to renovate a house from the land bank and get that over.
Mhm.
You have to come up with the money for the house, and you have to show the money on how you are going to invest that money and fix that house up.
But Dennis, y'all said that y'all wanted a plan from these people. Y'all was gonna give them how much? House of Esther people, how much money? 100. You gave them 100 days or something, and for them to come up with a plan.
To get a purchase order and to get that squared away with the administration. That was that.
But you gave some people from these help centers, Bethel, Greater Holy Temple, and Ashbury Heights. What they got? 350 something thousand. And all they did was come down there and hold up a little blue ass sign that said, "Give us some money."
No, they submitted and they teamed up with United Way. The United Way submitted documentation and paperwork. None of that stuff
about what all they were supposed to do
with that money. Yes.
So how come some council people thought it was supposed to be water pods opening back up, or not opening back up per se pods, but water?
No,
y'all gave
it was the money was being used for a vast array of things. It was used for support. It was going to be used for
administration fees,
water. I'm not sure if administration.
It's always administration fees.
Flint is home of
501c3 pimps,
right?
Right.
So everybody's got their administration fee. So, but to close out the House of Esther, the House of Esther, the last vote, I believe the record will show I abstained.
Y'all abstain a lot, Don.
Well, I abstained because they named me personally on their lawsuit. So because I was president at the time,
okay,
they put in a lawsuit to injunction to stop her whatever, and they named Flint City Council and Dennis Pfeiffer. So I abstained, I think, on the very last vote because you have a lawsuit pending. I'm not going to get in the middle of that. I'm going to abstain. So for the record, and it's, you can go back and look at the billions of meetings and tapes. That's on the record.
But Dennis, you're a businessman. We not crazy. Tell the people, what do you do for a living? What industry? What business are you in?
If people want to do investigation on me, now I'm not going to give people red meat because I know Facebook and you're going to attack me the way the people attack Eva. And don't get me wrong, people set up their own booby traps. But
you're in the business industry. Let's just say
I'm in the business industry. I'm employed from a company in Switzerland, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay, but but what I was getting at, you're in the business industry, and knowing business, and I'm not even in the business industry. We're talking about House of Esther, a piece of property on the north side of Flint on Pearson Road that nobody even really cares about.
And I believe it's still not sold.
It's still not sold, right. But you got to think to yourself, why is the administration fighting so hard not to get rid of this property that we claim we
Well,
want to flourish the city of Flint in the north side.
It's not that we just want to hurry up and check the box and get rid of the property. I believe that the property has to. And once again, I'll say that they didn't have the money, and they had to barely get the money to come up with the initial money to the purchase price. But at no point was there ever a plan or however to get the building up and operational out of the condemnation status. Like there's never been, okay, here's the money, how we're going to do it. And we've submitted X grants. We've submitted, grants to the state. We're asking for this. We think that it's going to cost this. We've got none of that stuff.
Right.
So as a fiduciary of the city, would we be doing any justice to the constituents, to the House of Esther, to give them a property that, one, they can't even get enough money to put water to the building?
But the city does it all the time. The city does stuff like this all the time. So why not give these people a chance? They had it before.
When did we ever give a property to someone that didn't have the money to make it operational and not a health safety to someone?
Damn, didn't y'all want to see who owns the Oak Business Center? Because y'all just put a roof on that. They couldn't maintain that, whoever the tenants was. So the city owns that. Then,
but we own that, and it's part of the program that we lease out space. So that's totally different than a property that was, I would say, snagged back from the land bank.
But it seems like, but the land bank. What's up with the rumor that I keep hearing that you want to create your own city-owned land bank? Not you personally, but the city of Flint. You don't want the county to have any parts of it. You want city of Flint land bank.
Look, I've been on the record many a times that I have very, very strong words, and let's just say we don't get along with the land bank. I don't get along with what processes and what progress or lack thereof they have done with the city. They're not to get into a talking point, but they're own a third of the city, and they're driving it it's turned into a shitter. I do not put that on the record, and it's been on the record a billion times. I don't disagree with the way that the land bank handles it. They hold on to properties. They don't sell them to people who want them.
But you give them $16 million of our ARPA money.
No, well, I didn't give them $16 million of the ARPA money. We allocated those for demolitions. And
to who? You allocated the funds to who?
But it's not to benefit the land bank. It's to benefit the neighborhoods.
But you gave the money to who?
They are allocating the program.
Let me hear you say their name. Who?
The land bank.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you gave them $16 million.
Yeah, but it was also in conjunction with the Mott Foundation, the state, the county. Like there's partners all over to duplicate that money to help improve neighborhoods. It wasn't we were writing the land bank a check to piss it in the ground with administration and to.
But that's kind of why what's going to happen when they get through 2,000 homes around and businesses around Flint. It's not going to put a dent, and they burn it down 2,000 a year more.
Let me put it to you this way. While I have disdain for the land bank, I don't think the city could have done any better.
Well, damn it, Dennis, why you want to have the city take control of it back then?
I didn't say that they do. What do you mean?
I said, what's up with the rumor? Like I'm hearing
it's a rumor.
It's just a rumor.
It's a rumor. That 100%. We can't plow the damn streets on time. Let alone we're going to start a land bank. That's a rumor. There's zero. That's literally a Facebook rumor that has no truth to it whatsoever.
Okay. So we talked about the land bank, and you said another word in there that I picked up on: condemn.
Yeah.
Last night it was a trespassing ordinance.
Yep.
We talked about condemning houses.
Yep.
It was a $500 fine attached to that. That's going to cause people.
That's going to cause people to go to court.
If they you can condemn somebody for a roof or a house not being painted, a siding falling off. Why would you vote yes on something like that? But
So-
wait a minute.
Well,
wait
you
a minute. Wait a
you
minute. I
asked
ain't
me the
asked the question.
question.
Point of order.
Oh,
All
geez.
talking must cease when I call point of order. Now let me read this to you before you answer your question.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to ask you. An older lady came up to me. This is a true story. And she said, baby, when are they going to give us some money for our homes? It's raining in my house.
Yep.
I know I'm not going to get any of those funds from the people they giving the money to because they said I don't qualify. I said, how? She said, my GM pension check from my husband, they say I make too much. But my daughter has a friend that will do my roof, and I thought this mayor said he was going to help us. It's been over 2 years, and we haven't seen no relief. I got 2 of my grandkids living with me because my son got killed, and I'm raising them. I guess this is how my life ends that I worked so hard for. She goes on to say that all I wanted was to keep this house so everybody can have a house to come back to.
Sure.
She says, now I got to give it up. It's time to say goodbye to Flint. She said, Flint treated me better when the sign said colored because I knew where I stood and where I belonged. Now it's just folk out there that's looking like us, promising us a little bit of nothing. I won't be around soon. I'm too old. I need to go back south with my family. Flint forgot about the ones who made this happen on our backs. And you voted no to condemn people's houses last night, Dennis?
Can I?
Go
Okay.
ahead.
So the ordinance was not to condemn. Let me put that on the record. The ordinance was not to condemn. The whole condemned process is whole separate thing. The part of condemning someone's house or business or whatever comes long before whatever happened in that ordinance last night. So, and when you get condemned, they come and shut your water off.
Mm-hmm.
They come and shut your water off, whatever it may be. And they're not just randomly driving down streets and saying, you got a tarp on your roof. Like you can't get a cop to show up to come and escort somebody driving a 4-wheeler down the damn middle of the road or anything else. So they're going to randomly show up to people's house and kick them out. No, that's not the case. The whole condemning, that happens when, a lot of people abandon their homes, similar to what you spoke about with that woman. If hopefully it doesn't get to that point, but a lot of people, they look at their value of their house and they're saying, okay, the value of my house is $5,000. It's going to cost me $10,000 for a roof. They abandon the house, right? So I think over time and over a series of processes, that house becomes abandoned over time. And it goes back to tax reverted properties. It goes through the whole process of the land bank and all that stuff. So that condemning process is long before that, what was intended for that ordinance to happen. So,
but what was the intentions on
the
condemning?
intent of that ordinance is, if you come in to a house that's been condemned, you need to leave. In if it's condemned, they turn off power and you don't have water. So it's not like you're holding on to a sinking ship. Like you have to get that stuff. It's not safe to have anybody in a house, especially in the winter, without running water, without anything, consumers' power's hooked up. It's those instances where you may have vagrants or whatever else. You need to leave. Now, you think that if a police officer gets called for somebody in there that's starting a campfire in the middle of a dining room, that they're going to dispatch the fire department to put out the fire or whatever else. If they're homeless, when's the last time you seen a homeless person get a ticket? Like what address or it just doesn't happen. They kick them out and it's done. But every ordinance needs to have a penalty and a fine. It's standard, whether or not a police officer, and I got a hard time believing Police officers have 100% discretion that they are going to write a ticket for someone that has a housing issue. It's never
So
going
if
to happen.
somebody comes before council and say they condemn my house for a blue tarp and you check it out to be true, you would help that person.
I would help that person, and I would call for resignations.
Okay.
I got like that's the scenario, and there's a lot of mistalk and double talk and misinformation, but that's what it is. That's what that ordinance was.
Quit trying to look at my notes.
I can't read.
Listen, I know. Okay, so listen. A lot of stuff. We're gonna try to rush through it, but I appreciate you giving your honest response. Now, here's another one. I'm gonna let you get some water before I ask this. You sure?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so Mays helped you win, and because he was out there, we seen him out getting a black vote for you, and then when you got in there, you kind of like gave him your ass to kiss.
No, not true. Not true. Was Mays out there? Yes, with me. Yes. What did he? I mean, I took. We went one day and we knocked doors together. He worked the polls.
Yep, he was out there on Fenton Road at Landmark and all of that. I don't even know if that's your area, but I seen him.
He worked the polls, and yeah, so
he helped you.
He didn't do that out of the kindness of his heart. I paid him. I paid him.
So you paid the man to help you, and then you still.
But no, that's where the story. That's where the story
ends.
Gets. No, that's the story. The story keeps going on.
That's where it ends.
No, but I didn't tell him to kiss my ass or whatever else. He wanted presidency, and I seen that we needed leadership. And we still need leadership to this day.
We sure the hell do.
And
top.
And if you go back and look at the first couple of meetings or the first month or 2 months or whatever else, we were good. And when they decided that they weren't going to suspend the rules anymore, Mays took offense to that, and he stopped having, how do I put this? He stopped having presidential
decorum,
leadership ability. He started to mock. He started to name call. He started to yell. He started to scream. And to me, that wasn't what the council needed. And to this day, that's still not what we need on council.
Well, why won't y'all say something about it when y'all see this happening?
So I'm a big believer, and that's why I don't get into tussles on council. People say I'm weak or whatever. I believe in the mindset and that I should praise in public and scrutinize in private. And when Mays was going through all that stuff, and not up to the standards that I thought that the president should lead and act, I've had that conversation with him in private.
Bullshit. Excuse me. Let me tell you why I coughed. Excuse me, I coughed. Eva stood up over you, and she did all of this to Tanya Burns.
Sure.
Okay. She came back again the next meeting and talked more shit to Tanya.
Well,
did you scrutinize her?
Well,
in
no.
public?
Well, I should put an asterisk on that statement. I scrutinize and that in public with people I have relationships with. I don't talk to Eva outside of council. I barely one or two words during council.
But you hear all that shit she be mumbling at the end. I know you do. We do.
Yeah, I've been sitting next to her for almost 2 years. I know this. But I'm not going to get into it on the floor. I mean, I have 100% fundamental differences with Eva. I have with Allie. Policy wise, we're almost 0% compatibility on what they believe versus what I believe. Policy wise, I think me and Tanya, I would say for me, I think she's said this as well, that policy wise, we are hand in hand almost policy wise with Tanya.
You know what? This is a good interview because everything that I be wanting to ask you next, you always say something like land bank and condemned, and now you said Tanya.
Sure.
So I'm glad you said Councilwoman Burns because here's where you want some more water.
No, I'm good.
Councilwoman Burns can't seem to find out where the damn ARPA money is. Now, do you know where the ARPA money is?
What do you mean by where it's at?
Where is it? Like, how much do you have left? What have you spent it on? How come it's not posted on the website? Where does this illegal 12-member body come from that's rotating every 6 months that's getting paid by the foundation? How much are they getting paid? What the hell is wrong with Ernst & Young? How the hell did the city hire Jane from the
I'm not
trucking
taking
company?
notes here. I can't answer all of it.
I mean, you asked me what I meant. I was just trying to get it all out. So you can start at the first one.
So,
where's the ARPA money?
I would say we've allocated some of it, obviously, with
Miller Road.
Miller Road was an MDOT project. The paving of Miller Road was an MDOT project. The water underneath of it was ARPA allocated.
Now, how much money did Miller Road get out of the ARPA funds?
I don't have that number off of hand. I'd be guessing it might have been $1 million, 1.4, or something like that. I don't know. You see, I don't have any.
Yeah, okay. I know.
I think it was 1.4, but I could be mistaken.
Okay.
But it didn't make sense, and I know there was fight over whether or not we should use WIN money or whatever else. But they had the plan to get this other company in here to finish this. Hopefully, they do in some point.
Mm-hmm.
Finish the water things. So Miller Road got $1.4 million, but there really wasn't a backup plan outside unless they wanted to allocate ARPA money for water restorations. And either way, ARPA money was going to have to use for water restorations or Miller Road. So either way, there wasn't enough WIN funds to allocate that. But it didn't make sense if we were getting all this money from MDOT to pave the road with a water main and sewers underneath Miller Road that are 100 years old.
Well, didn't y'all have to go back and redo it again anyway?
No.
Something happened.
No.
What happened on Miller Road?
Nothing. What do you mean?
You didn't have to go back and repave Miller Road? Or
no.
Redo
So
Miller
because
Road?
of the cold and the season, and in conjunction with the CRIM, they only put one layer down last year.
Okay.
So with that one layer only being so thick, it was prone to crumble or whatever else during the freeze thaw of our nasty winter. So it was planned that, and they're paving it this week or whatever to put that final thing on. So it was never completed. It was just to get us through that.
I don't care about Miller Road. How much ARPA money we got left, Dennis?
I believe it is in the
get your pencils.
I believe it is in the neighborhood of 40 to 50.
$40 to $50 left.
Correct.
$40 to $50.
Yeah, we can go to Olive
Garden. $40
to
$50 million left.
We can go to Olive Garden with that money.
Okay, so Dennis, why? We sat here at the beginning of the conversation and we talked about Flint being a 501c3. Well, I said it poverty pimps. Everybody got a nonprofit. Why the hell would you agree to give ARPA money that belongs to you and the rest of the residents of the city of Flint to nonprofits that's going to take a chunk off of administrative fees and then tell somebody's grandmother whose husband died 30 years ago that they don't qualify because she's still getting her husband GM pension check?
I'll answer the first part first, and I'll go back to my plowing analogy that the city and the capabilities of the staff can't handle it.
Well, y'all got Ernst & Young.
They are, and I never voted for them.
You didn't?
No.
Because you must have read that they had employees jumping out of windows on the 11th floor of there in Australia.
I didn't vote for them because I believe it was, and I looked at it. I got the proposals. I believe it was Greenhouse looked more appealing to me, and it was less money than Ernst & Young.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted the 5 for nothing, and I was a hell no. So that's when they came back and started the year by year by year.
Right.
So
Right.
no, I was looking, and I never met with Greenhouse. I never met with Ernst and Young beforehand, but looking at the proposals, I believe it was Greenhouse. I could be mistaken. The names are so familiar with Green for Life and the Trash, so that's a whole different thing. But I believe it was Greenhouse or something House. They looked more appealing and more like it was more bang for our buck, if that makes sense.
Well, how come you didn't suggest that, or did you suggest that? Did
100%.
ad hoc even ask for your opinion?
No.
So, well, damn, Dennis. I mean, y'all got two people that don't. I mean, that's in the infant stages of their counseling.
Well, and that's part of what we were relying on Mr. Mays to provide that leadership. He started all of the ad hocs, and he it was assumed like, okay, this is the path that we needed to go. They needed to do this, but we never, and I'll say this on the record. I don't care. We never got reports. We never got anything. We never got any to your 12 body thing. I think you mentioned that
illegal 12 body.
We never got any feedback on that. I think the allocation sheet or whatever we may have got a couple of days before we voted on it.
So Dennis, you telling me as a council member, once council president, who still was at that time, if you were president, you were over that ad hoc committee that Judy Priestley and Councilwoman Liddell Lewis, they're on that ad hoc committee. They met with administration and whoever else and came up with the nonprofits, the 12-member body. We're going to do all of this. And they never once came back in all of these months to council. Dennis Pfeiffer. Don't you think people need to be recalled if they're doing stuff like this?
That's there's people talk about recalling me, and it is what it is. But it is for the whoever elected them or their area to call for someone's resignation. It's not for me to call it, because they are representing who they think that their people want them to represent. So who am I to say that Liddell, you need to resign or you need to be recalled?
You Dennis damn Pfeiffer to say it. That's who you are to say.
But that's the path that we've always went down, and it doesn't move the city forward. So
nothing is moving the city forward.
But it's up to the voters to put whoever they want in to represent them. It's not for me. It's no different than voting somebody out of their seat. Their elected seat. Like,
yeah, damn, y'all voted Mays out.
We voted Mays out for leadership change, like I said before, because of his lack of decorum and his lack of. If the first couple months were honeymoon and we were good,
because everybody was happy,
and then when there was any kind of a disagreement, it all went to hell. And he started, and even to this day, every single motion and discussion item, he's calling people handkerchief heads. He's calling.
Oh, I was going to say, Lord Jesus.
No, we'll answer this question, Dennis, but I'm saying with this.
But hold on one second, Ricky. He's doing all of that during a discussion item on a topic that has nothing to do with that. He might talk 20 seconds on something relevant to that, but then he's going to attack everybody on council, and that doesn't help anything. That's not like. And people say, well, you're always voting against him. Well, he's not talking anything about what the discussion item is.
But when he do,
he doesn't
y'all still vote against him.
No, he doesn't.
I'll give you one.
I'll give
Go
you.
ahead.
I got.
Yeah.
I'll give you.
I got a reason too.
Give me one.
That garbage contract with the investigation.
Damn it, Mickey! You're looking at my notes.
Now, even with the DDA fires, how you did it last night. But what I'm saying, for how can we what I'm basically trying to say, we can see this administration constantly come up there when y'all ask for information, they don't have it.
Right.
Like, how would you grade this mayor and this administration?
That was my wrap-up question. I hate sharing stuff with him. How would you grade this mayor?
Look, if you can't get along in this room, I can't help you.
Yeah, you can't get along in your room.
How would I grade this? I don't believe
administration.
Yeah, no, I don't believe it's a single grade. I believe that you have to break it into different categories. So in you can put a million different categories and a million different topics. I would say ARPA. I would say we in how all of that is transcript, how that all of that has happened and the process, and D.
F.
I would say a D.
Okay.
It hasn't been a total failure, but there's a hell of a lot of work to do. And by work,
It's a failure when you see one blue tarp on the house. It's a failure.
Well,
to me.
Yes, it is. Well, it's
You see where we at. It's a failure.
100%. But I will say this, and I don't. We can circle back? Can we circle back on your grades?
Mhm.
I will say in with the ARPA and everything else, I'm against that 12-person body. I've said that, and I will vote no if they don't show how they came up with the recommendation, who they turned down, how they come up with the dollar. If they won't be 100% transparent, and they've already
You
had,
can't even get them to show up to a meeting.
like I said, they've already had meetings, and there's nothing about those meetings that's been transparent.
Right.
So
thank you.
I'm a no.
Thank you.
But I will say this:
Mhm.
if there is a proposal to help, I don't believe that because you have a blue tarp on a roof that the city needs to come in and save you. And I'll tell you why.
Yes, please tell me why.
And I'll tell you why. If you're able-bodied,
Mhm.
I don't believe that you should be put in front of a senior. I believe that our most vulnerable population is the seniors, and we should prioritize the home improvement restorations, whatever, roofs to seniors. The city has been on their backs for decades upon decades and generations.
But I may have just got grandmama's house that was already messed up.
But you're able-bodied.
I can't fix no roof.
But you don't, but you're able-bodied. You should be able to go out, and if you need assistance, we can work with assistance, but we're not going to write a check for your 100% roof. That's my opinion. If you're able-bodied and you work, you may be struggling, let's find a program that we can maybe fund and assist that program along with other programs to help you out. But if we don't help out that senior that has been paying taxes, that's been funding this city their entire life, I believe that we are 100%. We need to look at ourselves as a society, and we're fucked up. We need to change.
And this is what I'm saying. Like I feel you when you say stuff like that. Like I totally get you. But that's where I felt like we also broke, because you gave that same beautiful speech about educated, and I would tell anybody, and everybody knows this is where Dennis Pfeiffer went wrong and went his hard head.
Okay, what was that?
You gave a great speech about educated Black women and education. I don't know exactly what you said, but it was during the vote for Kiera May, the DDA director. Okay. Now she did end up fucking up allegedly down the road. Okay, but you gave a good speech. And then when it came time to vote for this educated Black woman, you voted no.
I don't know what speech.
Go back and watch the tape.
No.
Go back and watch the tape.
Don't do it.
You don't want to do it, but you
I don't because I don't rewatch.
I don't either. So I get it, but it was, you gave a nice speech about education and Black people and young educated people. You gave that speech, okay, and you voted no. I was like, well, what the hell? Why you say all of that for? And then, like you said, we should save the seniors. Now, as much as I'm against this damn store that probably ain't gonna never open up, you voted no to give the store $600,000.
Yeah.
So you say you want to help and you want to do and all of this for the Black people, but your votes say otherwise.
Well, the store, if we're going to jump on that for a second.
I want to talk about it.
The store there, when we got basically a spreadsheet that's saying with all the equipment on it or whatever else. Well, there was rumor that they were putting that same spreadsheet for that exact same equipment to 4 different organizations. So they were trying to get that same equipment, and this is all speculation. Like this is
allegedly.
Allegedly.
Okay.
That they were trying to put all of this, they were trying to get funding for the same equipment for everything from 4 different people.
Okay.
So if they end up getting that money from the state, that 600,000, I believe Kildee or whatever worked with them and got it. So in the long run, I believe it was a good decision to not allocate that money, because they got it from someone else, and 2, if you look at the progress and you look at, to your point, don't know if it's ever going to open, and how much money they've actually spent on that building, I think you could have built like 3 or 4 Whole Foods.
Okay, so yeah, I totally agree with you about that, but I'm just saying, you gave a nice speech, but you voted no.
I don't know what speech
you give nice speeches. All of y'all give nice
No.
speeches, but y'all votes say otherwise. Now let's go to the DDA lady.
Hold on, one real quick. Let's circle back to. I want to finish my grading.
Okay, go back to your grades.
So D on ARPA.
Okay.
I believe we have an E. We're failing public safety. Maybe I'm gonna make news tonight, but I think that we need new leadership in the police department.
Oh man.
So
all right then. All right.
I believe that we are not being, and it's good to talk about this stuff, because we don't get the chance on the floor. I don't like breaking the rules and whatever else, but
well, that's why I said, I got to quit having friends and family on here. I got to start having people. If I'm telling the people I want to keep it 100 and totally transparent, I got to start having these tough conversations. Like me, we didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this.
No, I mean, we
this
figured
morning, woke up, hey, you want to do it?
10, 11
on
o'clock.
My schedule. And that was it. And we did it. I didn't think we was ever going to sit down. So.
Because once again, you never asked me.
I never asked you.
But let me finish my thought on the police. I believe that we are not proactive on any policing. Mm-hmm. We're reactive and historians. We show up after the fact. Mm-hmm. The blight department and the NSOs is through its whole I would say Ponzi scheme, and the blight and all of that stuff is run through the police department. That's 100% failure.
Ponzi scheme.
That is a F.
F.
The blight enforcement and all of that stuff running through the police department, like you said, drive down the road, it's an F. We have to. Everybody has to be accountable. The administration, the citizens, the landlords, whatever else, everybody has to be accountable. And in order to make some citizens or renters or landlords accountable, that's why we have NSO and blight enforcement, and that's an F.
I wanted to touch back on crime. I was looking for my, remember I told you I was trying to transfer everything.
But we don't do any policing. I drive through the city quite often, and not necessarily my area. There's people with 4-wheelers driving down the middle of the road.
Yes,
there's people that have abandoned cars in the street with no license plates. There's we could talk a whole hour just on the crime that's not being, or the laws that not being enforced. Until there's new leadership in the police department, I don't believe that any of that's going to change.
So this is another question that was hot, and I was trying to get all of my notes and combine them, like I was saying earlier. Dennis, you guys passed the budget. You didn't ask any questions.
We did ask questions.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You guys asked 3 questions. Okay, so you voted to pass the budget knowing per the charter, the budget is to be present by the mayor. Presented by the mayor. Presented by the mayor. Not no slideshow. Now, even you in business, I'm in business. When I give a budget, and I handle $1 million budgets, I can't give a slideshow. I have to give a detailed line item budget.
And for the most part, this year we almost got a line item budget.
Almost.
But for the
what grade?
On what?
What grade did you give the budget this year?
What grade did I give the budget this year? I will say the budget was probably a C.
Mm.
The reason I say it's a C is because it's a living document, and meaning that it's constantly changing, it's constantly moving. We are not the budget is allocated for full staff. We are nowhere near full staff, so having the budget and looking at those numbers, not that it's irrelevant, but it's not going to come in nowhere near that.
But isn't that a charter violation?
What's that?
Dennis?
What's that?
The budget and how it was going, how it was presented, how it was voted upon. You guys missed the deadline. I'm kind of easing in the charter violations here a little bit. Like
what is a charter violation?
Stuff that's in the charter.
I know, but what's the
you don't finish?
What's the
The charter violation was, I remember Miss Inez Brown getting on TV and said this was the first year that the mayor and none of his administration was present for the budget, for the passing of the budget, to ask questions. Again, nobody to ask questions about the budget. They have budget hearings, budget meetings, working meetings, whatever y'all call them, 2 or 3 people.
So we had budget hearings and we asked questions. A lot of the questions.
Do you think that was adequate time?
Well, not everything needs to be asked in a public sphere. So, in the new,
but we want to be transparent.
But do you really need to know, or do you really care, or does anybody in the public care if, I don't know.
Yes, I can tell you why. Yes, that Kiera May. Remember, you pulled it up about her. That's spending that money with the P card.
Yeah,
that's why, for checks and balances. That's what I'm saying.
But that has nothing to do with our budget.
I know, but it's still.
Did you vote? How did you vote on that DDA budget last night?
There was no DDA budget.
Didn't you vote for
investigation?
No, there was no investigation.
I'm saying that's what
they talked about the DDA last.
Yeah,
night.
no, and I voted no on the millage approval.
Okay,
but 5 folks supported it. I believe it was me, Tanya, and Jerry that said no.
Okay.
But there was still 5 to support it. I'm a hard no until we can figure out one, what's the liability.
Oh, okay, a couple minutes. Okay, thank you.
What's the liability of the city, and I don't think that taxpayers should be liable if they don't have their checks and balances done.
So Mays asked to investigate this. You was kind of hesitant. Why?
Well, I'm kind of hesitant because it's a quasi government, and I'm not sure. And I'm being told, and obviously I'm not a lawyer or whatever else, but we don't necessarily have oversight over them. It's a convoluted mess with the DVDA and how they're structured because they have their own board. We can remove people from their board.
Who's the chair of the DDA board?
I understand what you're saying, but
but the people don't know who's the chair of the DDA.
He's the mayor.
Okay,
but he's the chairman of the board by the statute of the DDA, so he can't be removed. He's there by law.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a convoluted mess, and we don't have oversight over them. So that's why I don't want to waste a bunch of taxpayer dollars and go down a road if we don't have any operational oversight.
Again, I call bullshit because I may not have oversight in Grand Blanc, but if I see somebody getting killed, I'm going to call the police, even though I may stay in Clarkston.
Well,
so if you know somebody, a crime or something could possibly be committed.
And I think to your point, I think I did that by bringing that information
forward, but follow up on
sunlight. It's not done.
Okay.
It's not done, but at this point in time, the only thing I can do is bring it to sunlight, and hopefully something changes, or it's outside of our realm, or outside of our authority. So I'm going to take it as far as I can, but if we don't have authority over it, I'm not going to call a meeting and go through this whole rigmarole to use somebody as a punching bag. Like, it's not going to happen. I'm going to bring it to light and hopefully process changes and move forward. I don't think that dwelling on something for 12 months and having no oversight and no ability to change anything does anybody any good.
Okay, well, we got a few, like 2 more minutes. I want to hurry up and wrap up. I got 2 minutes, 1 minute. I got 30 seconds. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. So listen, we might have to do a part 2 if you're willing to come back and give us a part 2 to this. Resolution 230134, exempt pay resolution. Does that still give the city administrator his $50,000 increase?
So the city administrator, no matter what that, from my understanding, and this is once again all my understanding, that the city administrator's salary is still set by ordinance. And that ordinance includes the job description and the salary range. Until we change that ordinance, it is my understanding that he is bound by that ordinance.
Okay. This congressional break that you guys are on, Congress is on break from August 8th to September the 6th. How long is City Council on break? Because
our next meeting is July 5th.
So Judy wanted the first 2 months in July, but
Oh,
I
look
guess
at the
y'all
time
didn't get
we're
it.
out
No, hell no. Let me finish this. This is my wrap up. I'm wrapping up as the time runs out.
Yeah.
Now, y'all, somebody pre-planned this because Quincy came in with that big ass bouquet of flowers last night saying that it was going to be Allie's last day. And we were all sitting at home clutching our pearls because we had no idea that yesterday was going to be the last meeting. But it seems like some of y'all did. How would you rate the council in violating the Open Meetings Act?
I can't speak to that because I don't talk to Quincy outside of meetings or not on the floor. I don't talk to Liddell. I don't talk to Eric. I'll have a slight conversation with Tanya or Judy. I don't speak to Allie outside. I don't speak to Eva outside. So I can't grade that. I can grade what I do. I had no idea of that. That's why I called Clyde up and asked him, did he know about it, and are they prepared? Was it coordinated with them to shut down basically? And he said no, but then they did walk-ons, so
I heard that too.
It was kind of contradictory.
So is City Hall shut down until July too?
No.
Just the council will need a break.
Just the council. Every city business and functions still do it. It's just the council and the meetings. But I had no prior notice to that, and like I said, I don't know who brought it forward. I think everybody was silent, but obviously Clyde knew about it because he knew to bring the 3 walk-ons. So I don't know.
All right.
That's
well,
it.
Thank you, Councilman Pfeiffer, for taking the time out of your day to come on to the special edition of the Winters Hall Show. Be sure to stay tuned for us Thursday for the regular edition of the Winters Hall Show. And coming up at 5 o'clock today, we have Black Money Matters with co-host Dr. Karen Weaver and Jamaica Patrick, and Eric Culpepper is the guest. Thank you again, Dennis Pfeiffer. Any last words, Councilman?
No, thanks for having me. I think it was a good conversation. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and the rules don't necessarily allow somebody to get their points of view or their thoughts across. So no, I appreciate it, and Mickey for even though Mickey's been bad mouthing me, I don't. It's okay.
Hey,
it's okay.
Mickey did good. Mickey did good today. He ain't called you a lot of names yet.
But no, it was good. I like it. It was
all right.
Good time.
Well, thank you very much.
Yep.
And have a